Okay, guys, today we have this exponential equation right here. Pretty interesting question. 5 to the power x plus 5 to the power 3x is equal to 10. And we want to figure out the value of x that will satisfy this equation, but x is a real number. Before we start solving, pause the video, give it a try first, and if you are done, you can come back to the video. Without further ado, let's get right into it. In fact, the very first thing I want to do is that I will just keep this first term right here. So we will have 5 to the power x, then plus. For this term, I'm going to rewrite it as 5 to the power x, then all to the power 3. And this is equal to 10. And now I'm going to let m be equal to 5 to the power x. And of course, m must also be a real number. And this time, the new equation is going to be m plus m cubed is equal to 10. Since we have a cubic equation, of course, before we start solving, we need to equate everything to 0. So we're going to have m cubed plus m minus 10 is equal to 0. Now check this. Because we don't have the m squared right in this cubic equation, this cubic equation is actually one of the easiest cubic equations. So I'll just use a strategy to solve rather than using either the cubic formula or finding one of the factors first and then using that to get the remaining factors. This is what I'll do instead. I'll just keep this first term right here, that is m cubed. Then for this m, I'm going to rewrite it as minus 4m plus 5m. Then minus 10 is equal to 0. Now you realize that if we sum negative 4m and 5m, we still be getting m back. So we have done nothing to this m. Now the key thing is that because this 5 can divide this negative 10, we are good to go. So for these first two terms, I will just take m out. Then the inside will be left with m squared minus 4. Then for these remaining two terms, we can just take positive 5 out. Then the inside we have m minus 2. And this is equal to 0. Now, let's consider all the terms in this parenthesis. Now, we see that we have m squared minus 4. This 4 is the same as 2 squared, so it makes everything in this parenthesis difference of 2 squares, which could also be written as, I'll just write the first m, which is this one. Then we are going to have m plus 2, then times n minus 2, difference of 2 squares. Then plus this right here, we have 5 times m minus 2, and this is equal to 0. Now check this. We have m minus 2, m minus 2 right here. We can actually factor it out. So we're going to have m minus 2, then the remaining factors we are going to be left with this. But remember, m times m plus 2 is the same as m squared plus 2m. That is, if we distribute this m. Then here we'll be left with just 5. So I'm going to put plus 5 right here. And this is equal to 0. Great. Product of two factors is 0. Actually, we can form two equations. The first one is going to be the first factor, m minus 2 is equal to 0. Or the second factor is equal to 0. That is m squared plus 2m plus 5 is 0. Now from this first equation, straight away we have m is equal to 2. That is if we add 2 to each side of the equation. Then for this particular quadratic equation, before we start solving, we need to put this condition into consideration, right? So first of all, we will compare this one to the general quadratic equation. That is am squared plus bm plus c is equal to 0. And if we do that, we see that a is equal to 1, b is equal to positive 2, and then c is equal to 5. Now, before we start solving this quadratic equation, we have to first consider how the nature of the solution is going to be. So, to determine the nature, we have to use the discriminant formula, which is delta is equal to b squared minus 4ac. Now, we know that b is equal to 2, so we have 2 squared, then minus 4 times a is 1 and c is 5. And this time we are going to have 4 minus 4 times 5 is 20, so we're going to have negative 20. And this time we are going to have negative 16 as the answer. And of course, negative 16 is less than 0. That means that delta is also less than 0. And of course, the fact that delta is less than 0 means that this quadratic equation right here do not have real solutions. So actually, we are going to consider only m is equal to 2 to figure out the value of x. And do not forget that we are looking for x and not m. That is really, really important. So now we know that m is equal to 2. So therefore, we are going to have 5 to the power x is equal to 2. And this time we have this nice exponential equation. Now, because the base is 5 right here, I'll also introduce log in base 5 on each side of the equation so that I can just move this to the front and we are going to have x log base 5 of 5, and this is equal to log base 5 of 2. And clearly we see that everything right here is just 1. So we are going to have only x on the left hand side. Then the right hand side we will have log base 5 of 2, and this is the value of s. Now actually, if you use a calculator for this, we are going to get, let me write it here. We're going to get x approximately equal to 0.43068, and that is pretty much it. Remember, right from here you can also choose to introduce log base 10 on each side of the equation, and you also be getting the same approximated value. Thanks for watching, and see you again on the next video. Have a nice day, take care, subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.